Good morning to our respected chief guest or keynote speaker of today's lecture program, our chairman, sir, of IA Patna Branch, and all the office bearers of the Accounting Association Patna Branch. On the behalf of the Indian Accounting Association Patna Branch, it is my immense pleasure and privilege to welcome you all for today's special lecture program on the topic Beyond Compliance, Building Competitive India with GST and Digital India, Lessons from the Past and Strategies for the Future. So today's lecture is organized by the Indian Accounting Association Patna Branch on the special occasion of the completion of the 9 years of GST and 11 years of Digital India initiative in India. This lecture will provide insights on how these two landmark initiatives in India are working together in reshaping the compliance and fostering economic growth and driving the digital transformation within India. So I believe this lecture will be enlightening and enriching for all of us. So without taking much of your valuable time, now I request our respected Secretary of IAA Patna Branch, Dr. Vinita Kumari ma'am, to kindly deliver the welcome address for today's lecture. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Pooja. Respected Chief Guest and Expert of the Day, Shri Sanjay Singh Sir. Respected dignitaries, Chairman, Indian Accounting Association, Patna Branch, Dr. Dharendra Kumar Pandey Sir. Joint Secretary, Mr. Varun Kumar Rai, Executive Committee members and members, IA Patna Branch, Dr. Panna Lal Sir, Dr. Shweta Goyal Ma'am, Dr. Pankaj Kumar Mehto Sir, Dr. Jatin Kumar Jaiswal, Ms. Pooja Kumari, and others. Dear participants, research scholars, and students, a very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the entire organizing committee, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to today's special lecture on a very important and relevant topic beyond compliance, building a competitive India with GST and Digital India, lessons from the past, strategies for the future. I heartily welcome all of you who have joined us here by taking out your valuable time and dedication. Your presence has made this program is made will make this program more meaningful. At the very beginning, I would like to extend my most respectful and warmest welcome to our chief guest and expert of the day, Sri Sanjay Singh sir. Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us. You are an eminent expert with vast knowledge and rich practical experience in the field of GST and experienced the transition towards digital India more closely. We are deeply grateful to you for accepting our invitation and for sparing your precious time to guide us today. We all are very eager to listen to you and learn from your insights. We all welcome you, sir. I would also like to warmly welcome our respected dignitaries, members of the organizing committee, IA Patna branch. This program would not been possible without your constant support, hard work, and teamwork. Your dedication towards academic excellence is truly commendable. A very special and heartful welcome to our dear participants, research scholars, students, and all our guests. You are the soul of this program. Your enthusiasm, curiosity, and desire to learn is what makes such academics events successful. I'm sure that today's session will be very useful for all of you. The theme of today's special lecture clearly shows India's great journey of change. We have moved from a difficult and complex system to simple, transparent, and technology based economy that can compete with the world. The introduction of GST with the idea of one nation, one tax has made the tax system much simpler. It has brought all states together, increased transparency, and made it easier to do business in India. At the same time, the Digital India mission has completely changed how the government works with digital payments, e-invoicing, online return filing, and paperless services. Government work has become faster, easier, and more accessible to every citizen. We are very fortunate to have Sri Sanjay Singh sir with us today, who will share his valuable knowledge and experience on this important subject. I'm sure today's lecture will increase our understanding, create new ideas, and inspire us to contribute to India's growth. Once again, I welcome all respected chief guests, dignitaries, executive members of IA Patna branch, colleagues, and dear participants from the bottom of my heart. I wish this lesson to be heartily interactive, informative, and memorable for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your gracious welcome address. Now I request our respected chairman of IAA Patna branch, Dr. Dharyen Kumar Pandey sir, to kindly present the theme of the today's lecture.
Thank you, Pooja. So, good morning, all of you. Today's chief guest, Sri Sanjay Singh sir. So, I have been very lucky to have worked with him for 5.5 years at the CGST department. So, good morning, executive members, Honorable Secretary of the IA Patna branch, Dr. Vinita Kumari Madam, our Treasurer, Dr. Pankaj Kumar Mahato ji, Jatin Kumar Jaiswal, Sweta Jaiswal ma'am, and other executive members. And a very warm good morning to all participants. So when we talk about Digital India, during the last 11 years of Digital India, we have experienced vast changes when it was theoretically not possible. Even we have seen that in the houses, the political leaders have defended. They argued that India is such a country that in India UPI will not be possible. UPI is just an example of Digital India, how UPI has evolved. Every one of us, mostly, if I remember, I hardly do any cash transactions today. I cannot remember when I last used my wallet for paying in cash. So everywhere, be it the bus ticket or uh, traveling with the e-rickshaw or anything, buying vegetables or fruits, I always use UPI. So the 11 year of journey that Digital India has uh, covered has given us the scope for development that we are looking for. The 1947 uh, uh, was our freedom, and then after 100 years it will be 2047. We look into becoming a developed country by that time. So I'm very much confident that this Digital India campaign of the Indian government will surely help in achieving that goal. When we talk about GST connected to this Digital India, the GSTN network that started in 2013 now has evolved uh, in such a way that every data is available online. Even in the case of SMEs, even the digital lending system is available, and without any collateral, the invoice data is seem to be used as collateral for their digital lending. I have been in the income tax department in the year 2012, and at that time, I experienced that the returns were processed using CPC. And after submitting your returns in CPC, you have to send your ITRV to the CPC Bangalore office. Then at the same time, the e-verification was also started. And now I must say that when you submit the ITR form within a day, means if you submit your ITR today, tomorrow you will receive your refund notification. Your ITR has been processed and a refund of such and such amount will be transferred to your account. So this was not possible without the Digital India campaign. And I will not take much time on Digital India as well as GST because uh, We have our chief guest who has a vast experience, about 30 years experience in the field of indirect taxes. And I would not take his time. So that's all from my end. And I once again welcome our chief guest, Mr. Sanjay Singh sir, who has been like my elder brother when I joined the CGST department in 2014. So thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you so much, sir, for highlighting the importance and the relevance of the today's theme. Now I request our respected treasurer of IAA Patna Branch, Dr. Pankaj Mahato, sir, to kindly introduce our chief guest or keynote speaker of the today's special lecture program. Please, sir.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's special lecture, Mr. Sanjay Singh, Superintendent of Central Excise and CGST. Mr. Singh is with an exceptional 31 years of dedicated service in the Central Excise and GST administration. He is currently serving in the Purulia division under the Bolpur CGST Commissionerate, West Bengal, where he continues to contribute significantly to administration and public service. In the field of capacity building and professional training. He has been closely associated with NSAI in Kolkata, the female training institution of the department, where he has conducted numerous training programs on GST for department officers. As a master trainer under Mission Karma Yogi, he has successfully delivered more than 40 sessions in behavioral sensitization programs for officers of Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, helping to foster a citizen-centric, professional and responsive public service culture. Mr. Singh has also played a vital role in bridging the gap between the department and taxpayers by conducting a large number of these holding an awareness program for trade and industry. His expertise by the Institute of Cost Accounting of India, Asansol and Durgapur chapters to deliver special lectures at various professional events. Today, we are indeed fortunate to have with us an officer, trainer, and mentor whose rich administrative experience and passion for knowledge sharing have benefited countless professionals. Dear participants, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Sanjay Singh. We look forward to an enlightening and insightful session from him. Thank you, sir. Welcome to you, sir. Over to you, sir.
A very good morning to you all.
Good
Dr.
morning, sir.
Dharan, sir. Dr. Dharan, Pooja ji, Vinita ji, Pankaj ji, and all other office bearer executive members of IAA Patna. I am really indebted to have to be invited and being present with you all today. Now, first of all, this lecture or the views that I am going to express today are purely my own, and these cannot be treated as the value of as the views of CGST department, and this has got no legal or a clarification kind of a value with respect to the law and the GST Act. So that is it. Now, to begin with, I have prepared a presentation for this morning. I'll share it with you. We will then get along. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes,
Yes,
visible,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. So, first of all, thank you, Dr. Dharan, for choosing such a meaningful title for the lecture. Now, it's Beyond Compliance, Building a Competitive India with GST and Digital India. Lessons from the past, strategies for future. So compliance, when it comes to taxation, compliance is the most desirable thing. It is in the interest of the taxpayer and the departments to have high levels of compliance. But today with GST and the kind of impact that it has created, we are looking beyond compliance. So what does that actually mean? So we will just, through this session, we will try to explore how has GST impacted the growth engine of Indian economy, and what is the positive aspects and the challenges that has come with GST that we will delve into today. Now, it has been 9 years since the introduction of GST. First, I have mainly divided the session into 4 major heads. Now, first is 9 years of GST. Second will be the rollout and the challenges and the response associated with it. Then the digital backbone, how the digital India is helping GST grow and having a combined effect on the economy. And then we will talk about the GST 2.0, which means the reforms that the government has brought in with an aim to take the GST to next level. Now, as you all are aware, GST was one nation, one tax. It subsumed 17 central and state taxes and 13 cesses that were in force prior to 1st July 2017. It just did not simplify paperwork. I mean, the GST from day one has been a digital platform, a digital framework. So it did not just simplify paperwork, it dismantled interstate trade barriers that we used to see at the state borders, the log jams at state borders and cascade, and it also was aimed at, and it has largely or completely done away with the cascading effect of taxation. You must be aware in pre-GST era, there was central excise duty collected by the central government, that is by us. There were central sales tax, CST, and state sales tax, or it was also called VAT. So all these got subsumed into one tax, although we adopted a dual taxation, dual system, which means the state and the center together collect this one tax, which is GST. Now, there is a division of share between state and the center, and the taxes are also named central GST, state GST, or the IGST. So it depends upon the place of supply. You are aware about that. And the collection is irrespective of whether it's a central GST or a state GST. Now the center and state have divided the taxpayer between them. So one taxpayer is registered at a single place, either with the state or with the center. So both taxes are paid and collected at one place by one department, that is either central GST or state GST. So that way, although it's a dual system, we have mechanism where the taxpayer does not have to run to two other departments. The taxpayer only needs to be registered at a place and look for his compliances. Now, what impact has GST brought with it? As you can see here, the pre-GST, that is up to complete, although GST was implemented from July 1st, 2017, but we have, for comparison purpose, I have just put in financial years 2016-17, the whole year. You can see the central excise collection between during 16-17 were 3.83 lakh crores. There was service tax collection simultaneously by the Central Excise Department to the amount of rupees 2.54 lakh crores. And the state VAT and sale taxes consolidated estimated figure for all the states in India were around 3.3 lakh crores. So you can see it will roughly come to around 10 crores or something. Now, what happened after GST was implemented from 1/7/17? If you look at the figures for 18-19, the complete year, it has gone up to rupees 1.77 lakhs. Now, have a look at this chart for subsequent years. As you can see, barring 2021, where the GST had a negative impact due to the COVID period. But apart from that, you can see constant rise in gross GST collections year on year. So we can easily say that the aim behind implementation of GST, a single tax, subsuming all other state and central taxes, were kind of, the goal was achieved. So if you compare the whole figure, this is just with regard to the GST. Apart from this, the central excise and VAT did not fully disappear after implementation of GST. As you know, the petroleum products, that is crude oil, motor spirit, high-speed diesel, ATF, and natural gases, these 5 petroleum products, and the alcohol for human consumption is beyond the purview of GST as of now. So these separately contribute to central excise duty and VAT collections like it were doing prior to GST. So you can cumulatively take the figure of GST collections as of now along with these collections for computing the total revenue receipts. Now, GST was such a big project. Now, when in 2017, GST was first slated to be implemented, we all across the board were very skeptical, and we were having doubts of our own whether this will be done smoothly. How can this be done? Even at the department level, we used to discuss things which were like beyond our comprehension at that time. But we saw with introduction of GST from July, There were initial hiccups, there were challenges, but largely it was a smooth implementation, and the existing service tax, central excise, and the VAT assessees were smoothly migrated into GST through the state VAT departments and the central excise service tax department. So all the existing taxpayers were smoothly brought upon the GST platform. With it was ensured during the transition period that no one loses, no taxpayer loses a single pie of his credit. So that was ensured, and the registrations which were existing as on 36 2017 with central excise service tax or the state VAT departments were all brought into GST net. It was a process which was uh, kind of hassle free, and those who were facing difficulties, the department did handhold them at that time, and everyone was brought up on the day. Now, the transition from existing central excise service tax and VAT to GST was not an easy job. As I said, everyone was brought into the GST net smoothly, but it did have its challenges, and financial and procedural. The taxpayer were new to this online, although in central excise and service tax we were uh, gradually migrating to online mode, and certain things like registration and return filing had been made digital online. But still, since GST from day one was slated to be an online platform, and nothing could be done uh, offline, so it was a challenge, but the department did bring targeted administrative and regulatory measures that could help the taxpayer. Now, after GST was implemented, the technology that we had was kind of new, and there were problems. You must be aware, those who were in field at that time, or those who had relations with business and all, you must be aware that there were challenges with respect to compliance. So the department proactively took measures which could ease out the problems of the taxpayer, like with respect to filing of returns, GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B, which are the two primary returns in GST. So the deadline was, the due dates were made in a staggering manner across states, so that it could, instead of having one due date for whole of India, it was felt that if the due date could be kind of staggered, some parts, if they have due date of filing returns on 25th, some other part for others if it is made to 30th or 28th. So that will ease out the pressure on the network. And it worked, and that was one huge like step by the department that helped the taxpayers in compliance. Apart from this, the GSTN server capacities were extended. Offline utilities, now downloadable tools that you find kind of in income tax returns and other online compliances. So offline utility tools were provided, spreadsheets, which the you know these things. Those who are working in accounting and commerce sector, you are better aware than me regarding these offline utilities. So these were provided, which were initially not thought of. So as the GST progressed and with the challenges that were faced, so department proactively was with suggestions from GST Council. As you know, in GST, the GST Council is empowered to submit proposals, and the government can only make laws, rules with respect to GST on advice of the GST Council. So, in effect, GST Council is the body which actually frame rules for GST. You must be knowing GST Council consists of representatives from the central government, finance ministry, and all the states and union territories. So practically, this is the GST Council represents whole of India, and the GST Council alone is empowered to frame rules. They don't actually frame rules. Through an act of the parliament, it has been provided that the GST Council will suggest, that is, they will give the proposal, or they will make their suggestions to the government, and the government can only make rules with respect to GST on recommendations of the GST Council. So the GST Council has been working very effectively and proactively after implementation of GST, and this is with an aim to provide the taxpayers all kinds of support and all kinds of to sort out their difficulties with respect to compliance. So that has been done, and it has borne fruits in GST. Now, the MSMEs are the ones who actually drive the economy with respect to employment generation and local kind of development. So big industries do have their own role in the economy, but it is the MSMEs which provide the impetus to any economy. So the GST Council and the government has always been proactive whenever it comes to the issues of MSMEs. So with advent of GST, there was composition scheme. Composition scheme means the small businesses, the small traders were given an option to pay a turnover tax, you can say, as you call it in income tax. So it is a flat turnover tax on their aggregate turnover, and this was initially supposed to be 50 lakhs, which was later raised to 1 crore, then to 1.5 crore. So the composition scheme, it got expanded to favor the MSMEs. Then for the MSMEs, who were finding it difficult to file monthly returns. Sorry. So those who were finding it difficult to file monthly returns, for them, based on a turnover criteria, so they were made to choose an option of quarterly return filing. So now they can file returns in once in 3 months. They will have to make the tax payments on a monthly basis, for which there are forms which have been prescribed. But they can file their returns on a quarterly basis. So this was also an amendment. Actually, initially no such thing was provided in GST. Then there were also the businesses which have turnover of around 2 crores were exempt from filing annual return. So annual return is the one return which kind of consolidates your 12 months return. So the taxpayer has to have to file monthly returns. Then the annual return gets auto-populated from the returns that you have filed on a 12-month basis. So data in annual return is mostly auto-populated, but there are fields which you can still make amendments to, and you can choose your figures there. So this annual return is made mandatory only for businesses with turnover of rupees 2 crores and above. So these were some of the issues, some of the amendments that were made for MSMEs to progress. Now, the rate rationalization and digital backbone. So, inverted duty structure, you must be knowing what is inverted duty structure is one in which case the tax on input or the raw material is higher than the tax on your finished goods. So this is a condition. It is existing from central excise days also, and it is not practically not possible to completely eradicate this. But the government has almost, in GST, we have almost been able to do away with this inverted duty structure, and wherever it is practically not feasible to do away with this structure. Now, refunds have been allowed in certain cases, in specific cases where the taxpayer can claim refund of the higher input, the higher taxes that he has been made to pay for their inputs. Then there were, with respect to digitalization, there were calibrated e-invoicing thresholds. Now, for MSMEs, this also helped. The e-invoicing was brought in for initially for people having turnover 100 crores and above, then it came down to 5 crores. So the e-invoicing thresholds were also implemented in a staggered manner. Apart from this, the key pillars of digital GST framework, the registration has been the backbone of, registration is the backbone of any taxation system. The taxpayer has first get registered or get connected with the department. Now, registrations in GST are completely online, and it is done without any kind of having to visit the office or anything. So now the Aadhaar-based verifications have been made compulsory in GST in certain cases. Now, of late, the registrations are mandated to be provided in 3 days for low-risk applicants. So that is kind of, we will see what is the low risk. So e-way bills and this e-way bills have helped abolition of state border checkposts. The border checkposts were one area where it used to consume time, and the expenses were involved. The freight used to be higher because the lorries had to wait. So now these things have been done away, and this has been possible with the digital framework that GST uses. Now, another important issue where the GST has made any positive impact with respect to uh, cutting down expenses, or you can say cutting down the cascading taxation effect on the taxpayer. So the input tax credit, we will see a comparison kind of with central excise and service tax regime to now. So in central excise, it was basically the raw material which were eligible for input tax credit. For example, in a manufacturing sector, there are a lot of expenses which may not directly fall under the category of essential raw material. but those are allied expenses, ancillary expenses necessary for manufacturing, but those were mostly not covered under the input tax credit scheme or the SENVAT credit that we used to call in central excise era. But in GST, now the definition has changed, the spirit had spirit had changed. Now we are the taxpayer are getting ITC, that is input tax credit, of almost all kind of expenses barring a few. So whatever falls in the category of that is in course of furtherance of business, so that ITC is made eligible in GST. Now with respect to capital goods, there was a huge kind of debate and this dispute in central excise, that is whether these are capital goods, whether they are eligible for SENVAT credit or not. It had a very complicated definition, but in GST it has been made very, very simple. Now capital goods in GST eligible for ITC are those goods which the business acquires and capitalizes it in their books of accounts. So that is the only definition that capital goods is governed. The SENVAT or the ITC in GST is governed by. There are exceptions, but that we will that broadly the capital goods which were not entitled for the SENVAT credit in central excise era are now eligible for ITC. So that has made a huge difference to the businesses. Their funds or capital that used to go into purchase of capital goods and the tax portion on that got did not get utilized is now being utilized. So this has made a positive difference. Apart from this, the capital goods credits in central excise were limited to 50%. That is, if a businessman purchased a capital good worth 1000 rupees with 200 rupees central excise duty on it, so he could only avail 100 rupees in the first financial year, and the balance 100 rupees he was allowed only in the next financial year. So that also kind of held back his capital for 1 year. So that rule has been done away with in GST, and today even in case of capital goods like the inputs, the taxpayer gets 100% credit on the day of the purchase. Apart from this, we have kind of restrictions in GST, ITC with respect to motor vehicles, food beverages, and immovable property. So, is this going okay with you? Anybody?
Yes, it is.
क्योंकि ऐसा मुझे आदत नहीं है, मतलब ये इट्स काइंड ऑफ नॉट गेटिंग इंटरेक्टिव, तो फिर समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि मैं बोलता जा रहा हूँ. सो हाउ इज इट गोइंग? तो आप लोग
Oh, no, sir.
अगर
The participants have been
Yes,
given the rights to unmute themselves and they can ask a question if they have any question.
हाँ, that
Otherwise, we have the question and answer session after the lecture.
we will definitely have one after the lecture, but during the lecture it's I'm sweating like whether it's going all right or not, or people are getting
No,
me
no,
or
sir.
not.
We are getting your lecture. No issue is there.
Thank you.
We are listening carefully. Yes.
Thank you.
And the participants, if you have any question in between also, you can please ask. Or you can give the questions in your chat box so that we will take it up later.
Yes, please do that. Participants, please do that. That will make it more interesting, more interactive. So that will be great. So we'll move on. So how GST and Digital India lifted global competitiveness. So the what I was saying in the beginning is like topic has been crafted very smartly, very in a very nice manner, that is beyond compliance. So this is where the competitiveness comes. Now GST, one, for any economy to grow or any kind of investment to come, you have to have a taxation system which is flawless and which is free of or maybe which is minimal cumbersome. So GST does that. So GST for the taxpayers has been, although you can argue that there has been problems and each day there is a kind of a amendment and change into the in the rules and act, so that is okay. So change is not always a bad thing. It is a good thing because the government proactively makes the facilitates the trade and by changing rules and laws, so that is good. And now, what GST has done, GST with Digital India has done is now unified national market. Now, with advent of this uh, marketing platforms, online marketing platforms, even the uh, even someone with sitting in a village can put an order, and the market has expanded to such a level that was unimaginable 10 years back. So this is what we have achieved with Digital India. Now, apart from this, talking of Digital India, I think the sheer amount of volume of uh, transactions and data that the UPI does each day, the IRCTC, the Aadhaar UP, the UID जो हमारा आधार का है, तो the kind of digital work that is being done and successfully done in India today was unimaginable some years ago. So this has also led to a positive side with GST collections. You will see the GST collections we saw in the earlier slides. The GST collection has been going upwards year on year. So, and it is at a good pace. So the unified national market, cash flow based lending, GST and UPI transaction trails now enable data driven cash flow based lending. ये आप मुझसे बेहतर समझेंगे, so I don't have to elaborate on this. The streamlined supply chains. Now e-way bills cut transit times and simplified logistics planning. पहले, now what happened earlier in central excise days and VAT days was the you could have seen at each state border between two states, you would have found number of hundreds and hundreds of trucks were stranded for days together. So just think about the freight charges the excess freight charges that had to be incurred, and the kind of delay in supply of goods from one place to another. Now GST has completely, with help of e-way bill, it has done away completely. So now, online assessments and automated data matching reduce manual intervention. Now, from department side, one of the biggest changes that we find is that now the assessments are almost done online by our automated data matching. So we have systems in place where the network tells me that there is a difference with respect to this taxpayer in GST payment and the number of EUA bills it has filed, generated, or the number of, or the there is a difference in two-way and ITC that reflects in two-way and actual ITC that the taxpayer has availed in three-way. So these things have helped the department uh, in making assessment on a faster mode. Now, suppose if I had to go through a return of a taxpayer, that is, I will have to first check his input details, then how much has he actually taken credit of, and then how much he had to, what were his outward liabilities, how much he has actually paid. So this would take days for a person to do this job. We used to do this in central excise days also. Now, I'll give you a just simple comparison. Uh, Dr. Dharan has seen this, knows it. So in central excise days, suppose I, as an inspector, was in charge of maybe 30 taxpayers. So I had to deal with around 30 taxpayers. Now, the same person at the same post, same position is dealing with over 300 taxpayers or even larger number. So this, had the automation not been done, it would have not been humanly possible to do the assessments or the data collection, the tax collection would not have been smooth.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. One question from participant sides.
Please.
Sir, Mr. Ayush is asking, sir, how does cash-based lending, how we are getting the cash support from the cash-based lending?
This GST and UPI is a transaction trails now enable data-driven cash flow-based lending. So this actually the GST invoices in some cases what is we will see it in another slide. So shall I actually cover that then come back to this?
Sure, sure. And sir, there is one other question. Why GST important for us?
Why GST important for us?
Yes, sir. And why GST 2.0 was brought in?
Okay, so that we will keep these both questions for later, because
Sure,
once
sir.
Yes,
Sure,
the
sir,
few
sure.
questions it
GST,
seems will be better answered in the
Sure,
question
sir.
and
You
answer
will
session.
continue. We will
no,
ask
because
after.
once I deliberate upon 2.0, then it will be better for the participant to understand, because next is 2.0. So how has 2.0 come into being and why it is called 2.0? So that would be, I think, helpful.
Yes.
ठीक है?
Okay, sir. Sure, sure.
Okay. Now, GST wasn't just a new tax rate structure bolted onto one old paper work. It was designed from day one to run on India's emerging digital public infrastructure. So, as you are aware, the Digital India has started working a couple of years prior to GST actually was introduced. So, like I said, in in central excise regime also we had this online. We had started the online compliances. Apart from this, now how did GST interacted digitally? So every taxpayer touchpoint plugs into the same rails as Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker. Now every registration that is granted in GST is Aadhaar and PAN based. It is verified digitally. Digital verification is done with respect to Aadhaar for GST registrations. Now, GSTN is a GSTN, the kind of volume of data that GSTN handles is huge. So one national portal replaces 36 separate state tax systems. So you can just imagine what was being done earlier by 36 other systems was converged into one GSTN. So you can imagine kind of the digital transformation that has come with GST. Now real-time payment and cash flow trails feed straight into compliance because this UPI has helped, how UPI has helped GST. So like every other field, the payments in GST are also, the 100% payments in GST are made through online mode. UPI is a larger contributor. Another field that is digital area is AI. Invoice, e-way bill and bank data cross-checked automatically. So every invoice that is generated, a e-way bill is generated in GST against that invoice, and payments are made subsequently. So this whole thing is automated and the AI does a great job there. Now GSTN, as I was saying, GSTN is a huge platform, and this is the advent of GSTN, how it got. Now GSTN's status is, it is a government owned, 100% government owned. Initially it was incorporated as 51% stake held by private financial institutions and 49% by the center and states. This has now changed and it's a 100% government body today. Now continuing with Digital India. Now you will see there are around 1.5, over 1.5 crore taxpayers, active taxpayers registered in GST today. They are on GST portal. Around 6 crores plus e-way bill generated every single month for goods in transit. As you know, every transportation or every consignment needs an e-way bill to accompany. So there are 6 crore plus e-way bills that are being generated every single month. Apart from this, the invoice registration portal. Now every B2B e-invoice is validated in real time, stamped to unique invoice reference number, the IRN number, and a QR code, and then it outflows into GSTR1. Here, it will be pertinent just to speak a little about this. So although there is a lot of talk about GST and that there are, and the compliance, there are so many returns and there is actually a lot of compliance required. But if you see, so things are so simple, you just have to generate an invoice for a outward supply. So once that invoice is generated, as you can see, we were talking that this goes into the GSTR1, outflows into GSTR1. Now, once this goes into GSTR1, thereafter, if you don't need to make much changes, that is for taxpayers who are working in a genuine mode and they don't have a lot of amendments to make to their books of accounts. So once the invoice is generated, it goes into GSTR1 and then it kind of the automation starts. This figure from GSTR 1 will be auto-populated into your GSTR 3B, that is your return through which payments are made. GSTR 1, as you know, is in fact not a full-fledged GST return. It's a reporting document. So you only report your outward supply through GSTR 1. No payments are made through GSTR 1. It's not a return to make payments. The return for payments is GSTR 3B. So once you once you generate an invoice, it automatically goes to GSTR 1 and then subsequently to GSTR 3B, where you make the payments. From 3B, it auto-populates to your GSTR 9, which is your annual return. And in a similar manner, your GSTR 2B is auto-populated. It comes to your 3B and it travels to 9. So if you don't need to make too many changes to your return, there is actually not much of a hassle in filing the returns. So that is how it is. So I think I'm going a bit slow. It's already 12:05, so we will come to this GST 2.0 and next-gen reforms. So as I was saying, it's the GST Council, which is the most powerful body to frame rules in GST. So the GST Council's 56th meeting, which was held last year in sometime during October or September. So it had made a lot of recommendations to the government, which were accepted and laws were amended accordingly. So 56th meeting is a very important event. Now, what all happened and why? One question that had come regarding why it is 2.0. So it's 2.0 means like we are into next phase of GST. For 9 years, we almost saw, for 8 years rather, we saw a GST where compliances improved, and so far we talked how the collections grew and all that. But despite all that, the necessity for major reforms was felt, and those came in last 1 year or so. So this is in the 9th year, it is GST 2.2, next generation. So what major changes were affected? So first was from 4 rate slabs, that is 5%, 12, 18, and 28. Earlier, there were 4 rates of GST. Now, those has been merged into 2, 5%, and the standard rate is 18%. For services, it is mostly 18%, barring a few. So it is 18% for services. For goods, it's mostly 18%, except the government felt, the GST Council felt that there were goods which were earlier attracting 12% or even 18% rate, which were needed to be brought under 5% slab, because they were mostly goods of use by the common man. So that was done. Apart from this, there is a 40% rate. This is actually what we call seen goods, or these are goods which are discouraged, which the government does not recommend or does not promote these goods. So to discourage its sales, there is a higher tax rate on these. These are seen goods, so those are minimal. So this rate changed from 4 slab rate to 2 slab rate. This was a major change. Insurance made, there were a lot of publicity. You must have seen the individual health insurances were exempt from GST. Like some examples you can see here, everyday food and household items got cheaper, meaning those rates came down to 5% from existing 12 or 18 earlier. On household appliances and light vehicles, even cars, motorcycles got cheaper last year. From the rates were slashed from 28 to 18%. The government also thought of the agricultural sector and the tractor, soil preparation, cultivation equipments, harvesting, threshing, and all the kind of equipments used in agriculture where the rate were reduced from 12 to 5. Labor intensive goods, the handicraft, marble, granite, and leather goods, etc. Those were made cheaper. Cement, one of the backbone of the economy, which drives the economy, is cement, used mostly in sectors where the which are responsible for taking the economy forward. The cement rate were 28% earlier, it was made to 18%. So you can see how much impact it could have created on the overall economy. Similarly, healthcare, transport, and clean energy, all sectors were taken care of, and even rates were reduced to 5% from existing 18% on medical apparatus, devices used for medical, surgical, dental, etc. And buses, trucks, ambulances rates came down from 28 to 18 since the 28% rate was done away with. Auto parts made uniform irrespective of HS code. Similarly, renewable energy devices were made cheaper. And then one important thing that was that came with GST 2.0 was this inverted duty structure that we were talking earlier. So two sectors that were mainly taken care of: man-made textile sector. So man-made fiber 18 to 5%, man-made yarn 12 to 5%. Now fertilizer sector was another where duty structures were inverted and it was corrected. And sulfuric acid, nitric acid, ammonia, key fertilizer inputs, correcting the same inverted structure that once trapped credit. So trapped credit means what happens, as I told earlier, the inverted duty structure kind of blocks the capital or the running finances for the company. So although there were provisions earlier too in GST for granting of refund to in cases of inverted duty structure, but all were not covered. So those have been taken care of here. So Pooja ji, वो जो question आया, the question that had come, I think credit flow automation, जो मैं वहाँ बोला कि we will take it up later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो वो इसमें we can see here credit flow automation. तो क्या है, मतलब expanding the open credit enablement network OCEN using GST invoice data provide instant collateral free working capital to MSMEs. तो इसमें एक वो सिस्टम है जहां मतलब you don't have to go for any collateral deposits or something. तो वो आपको GST का जो आपका invoice data है, so that data it acts as it provides as a collateral. ठीक है, तो you capital working capital is available to MSMEs based on the data, invoice data. It kind of a invoice data देखने का मतलब है कि the lender he gets a sense of things, how मतलब the taxpayer has or how the MSME or how the company is performing, और वो इतने अगर इनवॉइस इशू कर रहे हैं, महीना का उनका इतना टर्नओवर है साल का, तो फिर दैट काइंड ऑफ gives a boost, a confidence to the lender.
That actually works like a digital collateral to the lender.
Right. हाँ, ये चीज आप लोग मुझसे बेहतर जानेंगे. एक्चुअली ये तो हमको आपसे समझना होता है. मतलब दीज आर थिंग्स विच वी मैं बीएससी पढ़ा हुआ हूँ, तो वैसे भी डिपार्टमेंट में जितना सीख पाया, अदरवाइज ये कुछ दिन पहले तो मैं भी डेबिट क्रेडिट में भी दिक्कत होता था. धरन जब थे हमारे साथ तो मैं इनसे सीखता था कि ये थोड़ा बैलेंस शीट का हमको और ये इधर क्रेडिट में जा रहा है तो फिर वही चीज इधर डेबिट में क्यों जा रहा है, ये आज तक समझ में नहीं आया मुझे। तो चलिए, तो हाँ, तो डिपेंडिंग डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, फिर ये जीएसटी में कैसे, देखिए वो डेमोक्रेटाइजिंग ई कॉमर्स बाय ऑनबोर्डिंग स्मॉल रिटेलर्स डायरेक्टली इनटू द डिजिटल वैल्यू चेन अलोंगसाइड लार्ज प्लेटफॉर्म्स। तो अभी जैसे आप एक उदाहरण ले लीजिए, द गवर्नमेंट ई मार्केट प्लेस, जीईएम, जिसको जेम बोलते हैं। तो नाउ अभी गवर्नमेंट में सारे डिपार्टमेंट्स में आपको जेम के थ्रू परचेज मैंडेटरी है, और जेम में तो ऐसे भी वो नियम बनाए हुए हैं कि मतलब जहां आपको मैंडेटरी एकदम ये स्मॉल रिटेलर से या स्मॉल सेलर से लेना ही पड़ेगा। So this is kind of a boost to the e-commerce के आने के कारण ये छोटे लोगों को, जो मतलब people who are sitting in remote areas can also compete alongside larger players। तो ये एक ओपन नेटवर्क्स फॉर कॉमर्स, ये सबके लिए ये डिजिटल इंडिया का ही कमाल है। तो एआई पावर्ड कंप्लायंस एंड फ्रॉड प्रिवेंशन, अभी as far as department is concerned, it has its own developed its own this AI wing, और इसमें हम ये देखते हैं कि मतलब हमको जो सजेशंस आते हैं, the kind of suggestions that our AI powered engines, search engines provide us, we act on those. So the digital India has really helped both sides, मतलब डिपार्टमेंट के लिए we can perform better, we can act fast, और टैक्स पेयर के लिए है कि it has opened new horizons, and combined together, दोनों मिलकर, दोनों के लिए digital India is taking GST to new level, which is actually helping the economy and the country grow. सो अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस जीएसटी 2.0 में अभी हम बात कर रहे थे कि वो टैक्स रेट वगैरह का, फिर ये इसके साथ कुछ और, देयर वर सम अदर मेजर्स टू फैसिलिटेट ट्रेड which were taken which decisions which were taken in 56 GST council meeting, which later became act. So first was GStat got operational. The GST Appellate Tribunal, which was to be, which was in the act, but it was its formation got delayed. So this got operational. With this, it helps taxpayer in a manner that in absence of GStat, everyone had to look up to the High Court for any resolution despite a department's order. So now the approaching High Court, that need not be done. You can go to the GStat before after this department's orders. Now, apart from this, there has been major changes, which I think this is with respect to valuation and credit notes. It is a very vast area, so I think आप में से अगर किसी को इस पे जानना हो, यू कैन गेट इन टच विथ मी। वो फिर इसमें क्रेडिट नोट्स, this has got to do with credit notes that are issued against a supply by a supplier. So there earlier in GST, before these changes, the rules were like some taxpayers found difficult, some sectors found difficult, like FMCG and cement, and these sectors found very difficult. So for them, this has been relaxed. And cash ledger benefit. So if there is GST में एक हमारा amendment आया था पहले with respect to ITC, that if you have sufficient balance in your input tax credit ledger and you fail to pay tax on the due date, then interest won't be charged on that. Now this was with respect to ITC ledger, input tax credit ledger और electronic ledger जो है हमारा taxpayer का, ये the same benefit has been extended to cash ledger also. That means जीएसटी में क्या होता है, जीएसटी में या पहले हमारे सेंट्रल एक्साइज में भी वही था कि आपका एक अकाउंट होता है, उस अकाउंट में जैसे बैंक में हम अपना अकाउंट में पैसा जमा करते हैं, टैक्स पेयर अपने अकाउंट में जमा करता है, लेजर पे आ जाता है वो, लेकिन जब तक आप उसको डेबिट नहीं करते हैं तब तक वो पेमेंट नहीं माना जाएगा गवर्नमेंट को। ये सेंट्रल एक्साइज में भी था और ये अभी जीएसटी में भी है। बट द अमेंडमेंट दैट हैज बीन डन नाउ इज कि आज अगर आपको पेमेंट करना था 100 रुपए और आपने कैश लेजर में 100 रुपया डालकर छोड़ दिया है, डेबिट नहीं किया, हालांकि वो पैसा गवर्नमेंट को मिला नहीं, लेकिन चूंकि आपने 100 रुपए कैश लेजर में डालकर रखे थे तो आपको इंटरेस्ट नहीं देने पड़ेंगे। ये अभी नया अमेंडमेंट आया। 90% प्रोविजनल रिफंड्स, अभी ये जीएसटी 2.0 में ये हमारा नया अमेंडमेंट आया है कि मतलब विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू जीरो रेटेड सप्लाईज, मतलब एक्सपोर्ट को जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई कहते हैं हम, तो एक्सपोर्ट जो लोग करते हैं और वो अगर रिफंड के लिए फाइल करते हैं, रिफंड क्लेम करते हैं, तो उसमें 90% जो रिस्क जिनका मतलब रिस्क पैरामीटर हाई नहीं है वो सिस्टम हमारा दिखाता है, तो रिस्क पैरामीटर पे जो ऊपर नहीं मतलब ठीक है, उनको 90% प्रोविजनल रिफंड दिया जाएगा 7 दिन के अंदर। तो इसके बाद एक्सपोर्ट रिफंड थ्रेशोल्ड रिमूव, पहले था कि ये मेनली स्मॉलर एक्सपोर्टर्स के लिए किया गया है, पहले था कि 1000 रुपए के नीचे का रिफंड नहीं होता था, तो अभी वो सेक्शन अमेंड हो गया है। नाउ इवन someone with a 500-200 rupees refund claim can make a claim. रजिस्ट्रेशन काफी अभी सिंप्लीफाई कर दिया गया है और जो लो रिस्क एप्लीकेंट्स हैं उनके लिए 3 वर्किंग डेज में रजिस्ट्रेशन दे देना है। तो these are major changes that has been effected as a part of GST 2.0, इसलिए इसको नया जीएसटी कह रहे हैं, क्योंकि पहले जो टैक्स पेयर को जो भी दिक्कतें थी अभी करीब करीब दे ऑल हैव बीन डन अवे विथ, और द गवर्नमेंट इज लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टुवर्ड्स फुल कंप्लायंस एंड कोऑपरेशन। सो इसके साथ अभी हम आते हैं, हमारा सेशन यहाँ क्लोज करते हैं। बाकी क्वेश्चन आंसर आप अगर कुछ है, अगर बहुत ज्यादा समय मैंने नहीं ले लिया है तो फिर आई एम देयर।
नहीं नहीं सर, समय आपका, आप तो एकदम समय पे चल रहे हैं।
थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir, for providing such insightful and informative session. Sir, your valuable insights on from the implementation of the GST, from the how this implementation has been eased the process, and the relief measures regarding the MSMEs, and also the measures how which is the load for the SMEs, and also you also highlighted the key pillars of digital GST transformations, and how this GST and Digital India initiative working together to boost our economy. Sir, this session was really insightful and informative. So thank you so much once again, sir, for this wonderful session. Now, I request Dr. Shweta Goyal ma'am to kindly moderate the question answer session.
At the same time, I also request the participants to please switch on your video so that we can take the photographs of the session and we can keep it with our memories. So every participant, please switch on your video during the question answer session.
Thank you all for participating in this seminar. And
Hello. Uh, Thank you, participants, and thank you, sir, for such a nice lecture. Some questions we have got from the participants. First question is why GST2 was brought in? I think in the session, the sir has answered this question very nicely. And so I move to the second question. Why is unified national market important for global competitiveness? Sir.
More than GST, I think this has got to do with the larger economy of the country. GST only a small component to it. And unified market is important because that creates competitiveness in itself. So if there is a platform where 100 sellers can come together, so the uh, buyer will have more options. The competition in itself will increase the quality of goods, and this will in turn help the sellers to compete outside India. They can export their goods. They can यदि कंपटीशन है हमारे अंदर तो हम खुद में अच्छा से अच्छा अपना सामान बना सकते हैं, और एक बार जब हम वो बनाने लगेंगे देन अभी क्या है हमारे बहुत सारे आइटम्स में जहां हम अच्छा कर सकते हैं वहां भी हम नहीं कर पा रहे हैं ग्लोबली, क्योंकि हमारे अपने में कंपटीशन नहीं है। हम जितने में हैं उतने में संतुष्ट हैं। तो अगर आपस में पहले 100 लोग मिलकर compete करेंगे, उसमें 2 4 5 लोग जरूर ऐसे निकल कर आएंगे जो बाहर भी compete कर सकते हैं। सो यूनिफाइड मार्केट का मतलब मेरा जो समझ है वो यही है कि मतलब सारे लोगों को एक्सेसिबिलिटी हो उस मार्केट की, कोई भी उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे आकर अपना डिस्प्ले कर सके।
The next question is, how has GST improved the supply chain efficiency?
The GST has improved supply chain efficiency because now पहले क्या था हमारे सेंट्रल एक्साइज में कि सप्लाई चेन वैसा कुछ रेगुलेटेड नहीं था। अभी जीएसटी में जब से आईटीसी का ये चेन हो गया है और सारे सारे ट्रांजैक्शंस और सारा कंप्लायंस जब डिजिटल हो गया है, ऑनलाइन हो गया है, तो अभी बीच में जैसे किसी भी प्रोसेस में अगर 4 लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं, बीच का एक भी कोई अगर डिफॉल्ट करता है तो उसके आगे वाले पीछे वाले सारे सफर करते हैं। तो इससे क्या है कि जो परचेजर है या जो सप्लायर है उसको अगर पेमेंट नहीं आता है या उसका रिटर्न अगर डाउन मतलब उसका जो रिसिपिएंट है उसका अगर ऊपर वाला रिटर्न नहीं फाइल किया तो वो अफेक्टेड हो रहा है। तो अब ये विद इन इटसेल्फ मतलब जीएसटी में जो जो लोग डिफॉल्ट कर रहे हैं तो बिजनेस अपने आप में ही ये सप्लाई चेन पे प्रेशर क्रिएट करके और एक दूसरे के पीछे लग के इसको ठीक कर रहा है। जैसे एक जीएसटी में इनिशियली जब हम लोग ये इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हुआ, बट इनिशियली ये एक्ट का एक प्रोपोजल था, एक सेक्शन था इसमें कि इनको मतलब डिफॉल्टर्स को वहाँ पोर्टल पे मार्क करना कि मतलब इनको रैंक दे, इनको इनको वो क्या कहते हैं हम जैसे फीडबैक देना। तो इस आधार पे अगर मुझे कोई पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट अगर खरीदना है तो मैं उसके जितने लिस्टेड सप्लायर्स हैं मैं सबको देख सकूं और उसमें किन से मुझे लेना है किन से नहीं लेना है ये मैं डिसाइड कर सकूं। तो वो तो हुआ नहीं, बट एज ऑफ टुडे ये सप्लाई चेन को आपस में ही ये लोग एक दूसरे को, बिकॉज दे ऑल गेट अफेक्टेड, अगर एक बीच में सप्लाई चेन में कोई डिफॉल्ट करता है तो ऊपर नीचे वाले अफेक्ट होते हैं।
Sir, I think this query was satisfied. The next query is that there are millions of transactions and there. So how does the GSTN system ensure the end-to-end invoice matching while prevent the duplicating tax credit? How does the duplication is prevented? How, because there are millions of transactions.
ट्रांजेक्शन्स में अभी डिजिटल इंडिया में हम जहां पहुंच गए हैं, आप आधार को देख लीजिए, ठीक है। आप मतलब हर किसी चीज के लिए प्रैक्टिकली आज हमको एक अंगूठा लगाना पड़ता है, और हम जब एक अंगूठा लगाते हैं, सपोज हम एक जो पीडीएस से राशन लेने जा रहा है वो भी अंगूठा लगा रहा है, कोई बैंक में जा रहा है अपना ट्रांजैक्शन करने वो भी लगा रहा है, या हम नया सिम लेने जा रहे हैं वहां भी लगा रहे हैं, हमने तो अंगूठा लगा दिया। लेकिन वो अंगूठा जो हमने लगाया, आधार पे अभी 140 करोड़ लोग के डेटा स्टोर्ड है। तो विद इन दैट माइक्रो सेकेंड और उस नैनो सेकेंड के अंदर वो जो है 140 करोड़ लोगों के अंगूठा से वो वेरीफाई करके और फिर वो हमारा मतलब ओके कर रहा है। सो दैट इज हाउ इट इज डन। मतलब ये कोई जीएसटी में इनवॉइस जो, इसलिए हम बात कर रहे हैं अभी कि डिजिटली हम कहाँ पहुंच गए हैं और हाउ दिस डिजिटल इंडिया इज हेल्पिंग जीएसटी।
Sir, the next question have many terms, the new terms, which many of you cannot understand. How can blockchain, cryptographic hashing, and digital signature integrated in GST ecosystem? So these are very new technological terms which many are of not aware of also.
I think the GSTN is already using the blockchain and machine learning technology. It
Right.
is preventing the fraudulent practices with the help of those AI and ML practices. So it is already integrated into the GSTN.
Any more questions, participants? One question is, what is the role of AI in GST?
AI does not have a direct role in GST. ठीक है, GST is even today it is completely free of AI. ठीक है, इसमें कोई अभी AI का उस तरह से डायरेक्ट कोई रोल नहीं है, बट we have our data management centers where like I said earlier during the lecture कि हमारे जो returns file होते हैं, the taxpayer files a return and there are mechanisms in place which broadly scrutinize those data and mark the differences. So that to an extent, I think that might be done, is being done by the AI. Otherwise, directly there is no involvement of AI in tax management in GST.
Thank you, sir. One more question is there, sir. One student is asking, if everyday items are still getting expensive, how does GST actually helping a common people?
Right. So that is a kind of a challenge that the economy or the government is going through. So the government can, like we saw in most cases, the rates were reduced, rates were cut, but for the common man to get that benefit of that rate cut is connected with a lot of other factors. So that is, I think, that
Recently,
is
we are
not a
already
part of
experiencing
GST.
the
That is,
geopolitical risk due to the
so that is
geopolitical situation that is going on between Iran, US, and Israel. So that is already impacting the oil prices and disrupting the supply chain. So that is impacting the prices. Everything, be it agriculture goods or energy goods. Recently, I have seen 20 to 25% price hike in electronic items have been experienced. So if you go and buy a laptop now, it is costing approximately 20% more than what it was priced at in April. So GST is not only the reason. GST is already simplified for the common people. The main issue with the rising inflation and the increase in prices is the geopolitical war that is. So that is
Thank
another
you,
part.
sir. Are we having any more questions from the participants?
Actually, I have one question from Sanjay sir. I left the department in 2019, and since then GST has changed significantly. So I have one question. Actually, in a recent session at IIM Sambalpur, I came through a question. Someone said that corruption still exists in the department. So I think this question may not be relevant enough for this session. Then also like to take your views actually what is happening in the case of registration. Because as per my knowledge, registration has now been made without any physical contact. And SSC is not required to go to the office registration. And the same is with the department is also not visiting the premises before giving the registration. This was up to 19, but now might have changed. So is there any chances of corruption still existing in the GST registration process?
No, I cannot comment on that part, but I'll definitely tell you the changes that has come through in registration process after 2019. So now you must be aware that there are every day there are reports of fake registrants or fake taxpayer. So what is that? Those are people who obtain a GST registration without any existence. So they are practically non-existent registrants who indulge in passing on of fake ITC without performing any business transaction or business activity. They pass on. They indulge in passing on ITC to recipients. So even in most cases, it has been found that the outward tax due on those supplies have not been paid. Now the department has taken proactive action. The taxpayer is not allowed to file GSTR 1 if they default in filing of GSTR 3B for 2 months.
Okay.
Earlier, there was no such restriction. The taxpayer used to go on filing GSTR 1. Now what happens is once the taxpayer files GSTR 1, the ITC is transported to their recipient. So now it has been mandated that if you don't file GSTR 3B for 2 consecutive months, you won't be allowed to file GSTR 1 in your third month. So that is one change. But still the fake taxpayer, the fake non-existent taxpayers menace has not been done away with completely. So there are checks and balances required. So due to this, the physical verification of registered premises was started in 2020. So those registered or those about to register. So what is the rule that is in place today is a taxpayer who applies for registration, they might get verified before registration is granted. So if Aadhaar is not verified, or in other cases, in some cases where the Aadhaar has not been, the portal shows that Aadhaar not verified. In that case, physical verification of for checking the existence of the taxpayer is necessary. So people do visit taxpayers today, which was maybe not there in initial days.
So basically, while the government is trying to do enough for the ease of business, it is also facing several challenges created by the people of the country.
Yes, my opinion has always been that GST is excellent. GST is an excellent system for the honest taxpayers. And those who, like during the lecture also, I mentioned that those who don't have to make changes in their data and their books of accounts after the month's closure, so they don't have to face much difficulty in complying with GST, because once you once you issue your invoice, it gets auto populated to most returns, and that is what forms your books of accounts. That is what should form your books of accounts actually. So the difficulty arises when people have to make adjustments, and that is in the name of like maybe adjustments are also allowed. You are allowed credit notes, you are allowed debit notes. So there is nothing that is not considered in GST. GST is a very, very practical and taking into account every aspect. It has been devised in such a way. But That is it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. One more question has come up. Looking ahead, what should be the India's biggest priority? Increasing tax compliance, simplifying regulations, promoting digital integration, or reducing the cost of doing business? She is
All
asking, what is the India's biggest priority today?
No, from these kind of options, you cannot choose the biggest priority because all of these are equally important and all of these are required to make us the kind of economy that we are hoping to. And all these are contributory factors, and no single of one of these can be said to be the most important because others cannot be neglected.
So thank you so much, sir. This session was very informative, and I also thank the participants for asking the questions. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, every one of you, those who
sir.
attended.
Thank you, sir, for addressing the questions of the participants. And thank you, Shweta ma'am, for also moderating the session, question and answer round session very beautifully. Now I request Dr. Pannalal sir to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Respected Chief Judge, Sri Sanjay Singh, sir, distinguished participants, esteemed members of Indian Accounting Association, Patna Branch, and all the guests. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the Indian Accounting Association, Patna Branch. First and foremost, I express heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed chief guest and expert, Sri Sanjay Singh, sir, Superintendent of GST Purulia Divisions, Bolpur, Commissionerate, West Bengal, for delivering such an insightful and thoughtful provoking lectures on Beyond Compliance, Building a Competitive India with GST and Digital India. Lessons from the past, strategies for the future. Sir, your vast administrative experience and practical insights have given us a deeper understanding of how GST and Digital India are shaping the nation's economic future. We are truly grateful for your valuable timing and inspiring address. Thank you so much, sir. I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Dharen Kumar Pandey, sir, Chairman IAA Patna Branch, for his inspiring theme, discussion, and content's constant guidance in organizing these special lectures. My appreciation also goes to Dr. Vinita Kumari, Secretary IAA Patna Branch, for her meticulous planning, coordination, and warm welcomes, which laid the foundation for the successful conduct of this program. My word of appreciation goes to Dr. Sweta Agarwal, Executive Member of IA Patna Branch, for conducting the interactive questions and answer session so effectively and actively. Thank you, madam. My sincere thanks to Dr. Pankaj Kumar Mathur, sir, Treasurer IA Patna Branch, for introducing our distinguished speakers and highlighting his remarkable professional journey. And my special thanks to Ms. Pooja Kumari for her excellent coordination and smooth management of today's program. I also express my gratitude to our all executive members, lab members, faculty members, research scholars, students, professionals, and participants from different parts of the country who joined us today. Your enthusiastic participation and insightful questions made this session truly meaningful. With these words, I once again express our sincere gratitude to everyone for making this program a grand success. Thank you all. Wishing you good health, continued success, and a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you. Pooja, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a heartful vote of thanks. So with this note, we are concluding this session, today's session, with my sincere gratitude and thanks to our esteemed speaker of today's lecture, Sri Sanjay Singh sir, and our respected chairman of IAA Patna Branch, Dr. Dharen Kumar Pandey sir, and respected secretary, Dr. Vinita Kumari ma'am, and treasurer, Dr. Pankaj Kumar Mahato sir, and also the executive members, Dr. Shweta Goyal ma'am, Dr. Pannalal ma'am, Pannalal sir, and Dr. Jatin Kumar Jaiswal sir. So, and all the participants who have joined us today and made this session meaningful and successful. So, Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you,
great day.
Pooja. So everyone will receive a feedback form. You please complete the feedback form within the dedicated timeline. And after the feedbacks and the attendance is matched, we will issue the certificates by Wednesday. So everyone will receive the certificate by Wednesday. If you not receive the certificate by Wednesday, you can mail or you can leave your message in the WhatsApp group. Till then, you should not panic about the issue of the certificates. Thank you once again. Thank you all of you for attending the program. And thank you, Sanjay sir, for your wonderful lecture. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay sir, and thank you, IA Patna team.
Thank you. Thank you, Pooja, for your wonderful coordination.
Thank you, sir.
So we may now end the meeting. Okay.